Hello, this is Andrew DeStefano from Putnam County Crime Scene. And what I did on this is a crime prevention through environmental design site assessment at Matthew Patterson Elementary High School in the Carmel Central School District, Putnam County, New York. And what is crime prevention through environmental design? CPTED, as it's called, is a crime prevention theory focusing on tactical design and the effective use of the built environment, which, when applied correctly, reduces both crime and the fear of crime. Built environment means basically anything man-made, buildings, bridges, areas, houses, etc. So, the four main principles of CPTED, crime prevention through environmental design. The first one is natural surveillance, eyes on, the ability to see. Fundamental premise is that criminals do not wish to be observed. And when you're talking about criminals, you're talking about anyone doing anything wrong. It could be a school shooter, it could be a bully. You know, people that are doing things wrong don't wish to be observed. Keep intruders under observation through eyes on the street. Windows, lighting, removal of obstructions. Number two is natural access control. Properly located fences, exits, landscaping, and lighting can subtly direct foot and vehicular traffic in ways that decreases criminal opportunities. Number three, territorial reinforcement. Basically, who cares about this property? Does someone care about this property? Is someone in charge here? Clear boundaries between public and private areas achieved by using elements such as fences, pavement treatment, art, signs, good maintenance, and landscaping express ownership, making identifying intruders much easier in well-defined spaces. And number four, very, very important, maintenance. It's important to build things, but are you going to maintain it? It's nice to put landscaping in there, but are you going to maintain it? Sense of pride and the broken windows theory. If you have bushes that are growing and they're growing and they're blocking windows, you have no natural surveillance, they're a detriment to safety. And a lot of buildings and a lot of schools throughout Putnam County actually have that problem. All right, the first one we're going to do is natural surveillance. And I I originally had 88 slides on my PowerPoint. That's the one I did for my final project. 88 slides. It was probably an hour and a half long. That's what I handed in for my final project. That's not something I'm going to put here. But so I just picked a few pictures just to so you have an idea of what it is I'm talking about. Right here, the picture on the left-hand side, that's Matthew Patterson Elementary School is built in a T shape. If it was built today, it would never be built in this form. It's basically like in a modified T shape. It was built in 1971. And as you can see in that picture on the left-hand side, you cannot see around the corners. There is no line of sight around that corner at all. You can't see what's beyond that corner. There's no idea what's going on around the corner. And if you look in the upper left-hand side, in the corner where the ceiling meets the wall, yeah, there's a camera, but what does that do? There needs to be vortex mirrors in the upper left-hand corner so that you can see and law enforcement can see what is going on around that corner. The picture on the right-hand side is almost as bad. There's no line of sight down the hall. There's no natural surveillance, and again, there's no vortex mirrors. You can't see what's going on more than 20 feet in front of you. As you see it kind of bends, kind of turns, and you lose your line of sight. If there's an emergency situation, you're gonna have trouble. So, natural access control. Picture on the left-hand side, gate left wide open. There's nothing really to explain here. No words are necessary. It's very easy to gain access to the perimeter the night before by just walking on. By leaving this gate open and by allowing this gate to be left open, it blurs the line between the public and private space. There's no transition from public area to semi-public to private. The picture on the right, while it's good that the campus itself of Matthew Patterson is surrounded by fence, and that's very good. The entire campus is surrounded. It's not anti-climb fence. It's fence you can climb right over, and that fence is 3 feet high. It needs to be 6 feet high. It needs to be anti-climb fence. The positive about it, number one, that it is a fence. There is a fence there. Number two, it does show ownership by having Matthew Patterson murals on the fence. And number three, it's a see-through fence. It's not a wall, which creates an ambush point. So some improvements need to be made, but overall, it's not bad. So territorial reinforcement. The picture on the left, that's the back of the school, the rear of the school. Now, what's positive is that you can't see it in the picture, but there's a doorway in the gate, and that doorway, it is locked by a combination lock. And every adult employee in the school has the combination to the lock. This way, if they have to evacuate the school, they have to get on the other side of that fence. They can evacuate to the rear, open the fence, and get kids out from the emergency. The negative about the fence, well, another positive, again, it's see-through, so it promotes natural surveillance. That's very good. You can see through it. You can't hide. The negative is it appears to be a 4-foot fence. 6 foot is preferable. It's not an anti-climb fence, and there is no hostile vegetation in front of it. In other words, anyone could just stand over it, stand right next to the fence and start climbing, even if it was not an anti-climb fence. If you had hostile vegetation, basically small thorny bushes running along the perimeter of the fence, it would be tough to get into those thorny bushes and start to climb over the fence. Picture on the right, several things wrong. Those arborvitaes, they need to go. Somebody can hide behind those arborvitaes, and those arborvitaes can create an ambush point. So you can hide behind those. Better replaced with small bushes, not to exceed 2 feet. If there was trees, the canopy cannot be lower than 6 feet. So those arborvitaes have to go. Number two, the lights are not according to IES standard. As you can see, there's a lot of glare. They're bright. That's, they consider that good, but that's not what the standard is. It should be full cutoff. In other words, the lights are illuminating what's below you without any light pollution going out onto the 30 feet away or so. Metal halide appears to be those bulbs. LED in that situation is a lot better in parking areas and outside. So I went through three of the tenets of crime prevention through environmental design. There's 17 other minor tenets that are connected to those top four: the natural surveillance, territorial reinforcement, natural access control, and maintenance. One very important aspect of CPTED is traffic calming. In other words, what can you do to make traffic safer around whatever area that it is you're talking about? Now, this is the picture on the left is a picture of if you're in a car approaching the school campus, I'll call it. There's no stop sign. There is no crosswalk going across. There is no other sign on the right identifying that you're arriving at Matthew Patterson Elementary School. There is no, you can have, people call them speed bumps, but there's different types. There's speed tables, there's speed bumps, there's speed humps. All three of them would work fine, but you don't see that here either. You need to have one here, one down by the middle of the parking lot where the door is in the parking lot, and then on the other side of the parking lot, as you're making basically your U-turn and coming the other way, you need to have another speed table down that way, and that'll keep the traffic nice and slow and just slow it down. In addition, as you get to where that telephone pole is, you need to have what's called a neck down. And what a neck down is where the curb from the street comes out, and it basically chokes the traffic, and it keeps the traffic flow slow. And that's what you want around a school. It helps you to control the area, especially when you're looking to control situations when you have emergencies. Picture on the right, negative activity generator. I mean, look at those two dumpsters. You could hide behind those two things, and those are what's called ambush points. You hide behind those, you jump out, you can attack someone. And this goes towards maintenance also. Look at the garbage on the right-hand side, just beyond that dumpster. It's all broken wooden pallets that probably have some sort of nail or rusty, heavy-duty industrial-sized staples attached to them. Big-time weapons left right outside the school. And there's two of them. There's two dumpsters. Those dumpsters, like I said, they create ambush points, and that really needs to go. You got the weapons right there, and these two dumpsters right here and right here. You could hide behind there, and you can cause a lot of problems. Okay, the picture on the left. That is a picture of a boys' bathroom inside Matthew Patterson. And why did they take that picture? Well, there's no students around. The school is closed. It's after 4 p.m. And I was with the assistant superintendent. But these bathrooms are not built to modern standard. Basically, these bathrooms need to have 90-degree entrances. You walk into almost into like a little foyer. There's a 90-degree entrance to enter and 90 degrees to exit. What does that do? While preserving privacy, it opens up the natural surveillance. Surveillance doesn't just have to be eyesight, line of sight. It could be sensory surveillance. It could be auditory surveillance. Your ability to smell, teachers maybe can smell cigarette smoke or marijuana smoke, or they'd be able to hear arguments going on, hear bullying going on. The way the school is built now, and a lot of schools are, again, this school was built in 1971, not criticizing anyone. These schools were built long before the people that are there got there. So they're dealing with what's there now. So this is very tough, and they're dealing with not unlimited money to fix this stuff. But optimally, I'm just pointing out what is optimal in these situations. You want to have 90-degree bathroom entrances. If you go to JFK Airport or LaGuardia Airport, you ever notice the bathroom is not a door? The bathroom is a 90-degree entrance, in and out. And that's the reason. That's the reason, because authorities still have the ability for surveillance while maintaining privacy. The picture on the right, that is the back of the school. There is absolutely no natural surveillance behind that school whatsoever. Anything could be going on back there. And that's the gym, by the way. That's the gym. So anything could be going on back there in that school, and nobody in authority would know about it from the inside. To make the school safe, you need to be able to see what's going on outside, and those outside need to be able to see what's going on inside. Okay, I just want to have share some recommendations with you. As I said before, this PowerPoint slide was originally 88 slides, probably about 2 or 3 hours. But that was for school in my schooling. This was not for anything I want to put out on YouTube or anything like that. So my first recommendation is to plant hostile vegetation at the base of exterior-facing windows. In other words, there are windows all by the front and the back of the school from the classrooms, and they all look out onto either the parking lot or they look out onto the playground, and that's great. But what that also means is that the windows are easily in touch with anyone who's standing outside the window. Anyone could try to gain access to the inside by standing outside. So you want to have some sort of protection. I would plant hostile vegetation at the base of all the windows, not to exceed 2 feet in height. Second recommendation is to solidify the area on the wall unit air conditioning. If you look at every single window, there are wall unit air conditioners. My belief is that the school was probably built before, they had the central air conditioning or the ability to install it, and each of the rooms, it appears, have wall unit air conditioners. But what that means is that the areas around those air conditioners are weak, and you can gain access to the school through those air conditioners. Number 3, I would price out non-reflective glass for the windows. As I was taking pictures from outside, I could see myself across the street in the windows in the reflection. You should never not be able to see that. You need to be able to have natural surveillance, a clear line of sight inside the school. Number 4, as I said before, I would replace the arborvitaes outside the gym with hostile vegetation so that nobody can go behind it and create an ambush point. Number 5, I would open up the wall of the gym to produce natural surveillance, maybe a window. Also, what I didn't show in a picture, number 6, is right next to that wall in the back of the gym, there's another wall, and there's 2 doors, and both of those doors are solid metal. I would replace both of those doors at the front of the gym with clear see-through glass, and replace the glass above those doors also, because there's glass, but it appears to be like smoked glass where you can't see in and out. I would install planting on the side of the door, install steel gates in front, and create a defined transition zone from public space to semi-public to private. Right in the front of the school, there's nothing that says this is Matthew Patterson Elementary School. You have to drive past the school. Then if you look on the right, there's writing on the wall that says Matthew Patterson, but there's nothing in front of the school that defines it. Again, number 8, the rear of the gym exterior, there is zero natural surveillance. I would open up that wall, possibly with a window, possibly with some glass doors. Number 9, I would replace the solid door with full glass. They have the glass that's going out, the doors that are going out from the gym into the rear are solid metal. You can't see out. I would, at a minimum, replace those doors. I would also build a little foyer around those doors, because as soon as you open up the door, somebody could run right in, and you can't see out to see if somebody's out there. Number 10, they need to push those dumpsters into the enclosure. That would eliminate ambush points, and it promotes natural surveillance. It emphasizes maintenance, and it gets rid of debris. Number 12, I would convert, again, the bathrooms to 90-degree entrance, just like you see in airports. There's a reason why those airports have bathrooms like that, 90-degree, and it's not because of crowd control. There's no big crowds in airport bathrooms. They have that for safety reasons. It prevents violence and emergencies, because why? Because people aren't going to do anything wrong if they know they're being watched. And if it's good enough for airports, it should be good enough for the schools. Number 13, as I said, I would install vortex mirrors in the corners where you can't see around the corners inside the school. Number 15, I would replace the fencing with anti-climb fencing. Number 16, I would install, as soon as you drive up onto the school campus, I'll call it, I would install a stop sign and a speed table right at the entrance, Right now, you just drive on. You could be doing as fast as you want. That 10 mile per hour speed limit sign, that's not enforced. Um, I would install a speed table at the entrance and then further into the campus. I would install raised pedestrian crosswalk. In other words, not just a painted crosswalk, but raised. You could have raised with brick or with metal. It allows people to know what it is that they're doing and where they're going. So that is my ideas for Matthew Patterson Elementary School. I do want to say that very, very appreciative of their graciousness of the school to allow me into the school and gain access to take a look at what I explained to them I was doing. It was very, very kind of them. They didn't have to do that. So, if I could help them in any way, I will say this: the when Matt when there was a school shooting in Parkland, Florida, at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in 2019, I believe it was. They formed a commission, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Commission. And there was about 20 people on the commission, and they were trying to figure out what went wrong, what they could improve to prevent another school shooting. And my professor was brought down to Parkland, Florida to testify, and I was very proud of that. I went on the YouTube channel to see if I could watch the commission hearing, and there he was testifying. Gave a 35-minute talk, and when he was done, the first question, and really the only question of substance they had for him was, can you come to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and do a CPTED site assessment? That's how important this stuff is, and it's my belief he actually did it. That commission hearing video was from 3 years ago. So this is what they are looking at now in terms of target hardening the schools from school shootings. I would get away if I was the police, if I was the chief of police, if I were the sheriff. I would get away from what they're doing now, which is basically practicing to storm the building, to storm doors, going room to room, yelling clear, 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 rappelling on ropes down from helicopters onto rooftops. It sounds great. It sounds like a lot of fun, but the bottom line is, unless you're a police department like the NYPD, that's a waste of time. Because by the time you assemble an ERT, your emergency response team, those emergency response teams are made up of personnel from several different police departments who are not together at all times, who have to come together. Some of them are working, some of them might not be. They get a call at whatever time, whatever day. They might not even be around, might be on vacation. And then they have to come, they have to get their gear up, they got to suit up, they got to line up. You're talking over 30 to 45 minutes before they're even ready. So why are you practicing that stuff? By the time they are ready to enter, that gunman is long gone. And I'm basing that on every school shooting there has been. When Columbine happened, that was the seminal moment for the police. Up to Columbine, the strategy had always been to isolate and contain. Isolate the gunman, contain the area around the school upon arrival of emergency services. Well, what they found in Columbine was what I just said. These emergency response teams are made up of different departments, different people, working different days and different nights and different shifts. And they're not always around, and it took them about 40 minutes to assemble, and by the time they were ready, how much damage did they cause? If it's the NYPD or a department, sort of like the NYPD, when they have emergency response teams, they have emergency services on the streets at all times, that's a lot different. Because, the NYPD can have ESU there in a couple of minutes, just like they can have cops. But if the strategy is to make an immediate entry by the responding deputy, by the responding police, then why are you practicing something that's not going to happen? I don't understand it. The focus should be on CPTED and preventing this, not trying to see what you can do afterwards.